So I wasn't going to talk about this movie, but I kind of have to. I kind of need to, but it was so weirdly good. So, I don't think I've ever really talked about it, but something I kind of like in movies is weird romantic movies. I kind of like weird romantic stuff. And I don't know why, but I kind of do. Like, one of my favorite, well, probably not one of my favorite movies, but one that I do enjoy a lot, and one that I do kind of recommend to people and such whenever I talk about weird love movies, this was the start of it for me. Sorry, it's just weird to kind of talk about. And this is a lazy Blazie review, so there's no script, so bear with me here. And it's The Lake House. The Lake House with Sandra Bullock and Keanu Reeves. Now, this is the movie that has like the mailbox, where if you put a letter in it, it gets sent back 2 years in the past. And so in this case, Sandra Bullock will put like a letter in there, and it will get sent back to Keanu Reeves 2 years in the past, where he is. And it makes no sense. There's no explanation for anything or just whatever's going on. It's such a weird movie, but I really like it. I honestly really like it. So since then, whenever I hear about like this random sort of like love story that does have a weirdness to it, that there has to be something. I kind of like them. I kind of do, and I kind of like this one. Now, I will go through spoilers, so I do apologize for those who are kind of curious, but I will go through spoilers in this movie. So, this movie, Spontanius, is what it's called, is about kids exploding into a pile of blood.
This is bullshit.
Hence, spontaneous. So, yeah, that's what it's all about. It's about kids just exploding a pile of blood, and so a romance kind of blossoms out of that somehow. I'll explain, but yeah. And so it's all about kind of just living in the moment, because at any time you could die. It's like there's very much like, yeah, at any point I could have a heart attack. I could have a heart attack while filming this video. It's that kind of idea, but in this case it's a lot more explosive and bloody and not very pretty. So, the start of the movie, it starts off like with a bunch of kids in the high school. It all takes place in high school, about like 17-year-olds, that kind of age range. Just so you understand, the main character is kind of just like, just barely like sleeping as like someone's doing a presentation up in front of the class, and she drops a pencil, goes to lay down, and then suddenly the kid in front of her just pop, just explodes all over everyone. And so she gets up, and she's nice and clean because she was looking down. But yeah, everyone else is just covered in blood and everything. And yeah, but it's not gory. It is, but it's not, because it's not like a whole bunch of body parts went everywhere. No, it's just blood. So it's gory, but it's not. I kind of like that, Like, I love my gore, but, like, this movie just didn't need it. And so it's just like, they thought of a way just to make it just blood. And it's still gory, but not. The main character is... I did like her at first. She's a bit... I don't like the way she handled this kind of situation at first. I think the whole thing was meant to be like she never cried about it, and she's meant to be kind of tough, but in the end she isn't. And when she does the emotional stuff, she's good. I did like her in the end, but there's a couple moments in the beginning she needed to be just a little bit more sensitive. She wasn't very nice about this situation. And like they had like a Halloween party or something or thing at the school the next day or next day or two, whatever. And she wanted to go dressed up as Carrie. By that I mean, like, she wanted to dress up in a dress that was covered in blood. That's a little insensitive. But yeah, her friends managed to like be like, no, don't do that. So basically, with this kid exploding, uh, people come in and try to figure this all out. They get all the kids in to like do like examinations and such, and so they're all talking. And the main chick kind of mentions that like this could happen again, and that kind of does freak people out, including her love interest. Like she gets like a random message during the night of that night, of like sending a dick pic, kind of thing, and she's just like, like what, huh, what, kind of thing. And the dick pic ended up being President Nixon, I think, or just like one of the presidents, and so it's just like Like, okay, yeah, okay. So he was messing around, and so they talk throughout the night. And then the next day, while she's out with her friend, this random boy comes over, and it turns out he's the one who sent the dick pic. And basically, he just outright says, I always had a crush on you and everything. And so the two just start hanging out. And it's basically he's scared that it could happen again, and so he just wants to just go for it. And I can appreciate that. I will also say he's not like the most handsomest bloke. They didn't pick like the jock kind of type, sort of like muscle bound Ed Wood or whatever, like like good looking people. He's just an average looking dude with this like really pretty woman. And I kind of appreciated that. I kind of do appreciate that. Like, I feel like that was definitely planned. Sorry to the actors. I don't mean anything bad by saying you look average. But I feel like, yeah, they did that kind of thing on purpose. And I kind of do appreciate that. But guess what? It happens again. Another person explodes, and then they go in to this facility and everything, where they have to get treated for spontaneous blood combustion, whatever. It's a weird ass movie. It's a very weird movie. Basically, yeah, the two fall in love over time. And then yeah, when they do reach this facility, the two are in love, and they do decide, what, let's be boyfriend girlfriend, and it's all very spontaneous. There's another meaning to that word in this movie, where it's kind of just go for it, go and fall in love. So basically, like, yeah, one of the big things as well is like before they go in and get captured or like by the government or whatever, the government wants to like collect the drugs from the kids and whatnot, and there's like two druggy kids who sell everything, and so the main chick she's not afraid of doing drugs and that kind of stuff, and like so she goes up to them and wonders, well, like, oh yeah, the government wants to buy all your stock. And so they're hella excited, like, hell yeah, we gotta get a whole bunch of money, hell yeah. So they go and take her off to like their farm or wherever they make the stuff. And as they're driving along, they're all talking about like, oh, we're gonna get out of here the next day after all this. Go somewhere nice, maybe we'll avoid everything. And then they pop, and then they explode, just blood everywhere. The main chick is still alive. She gets into a crash, but she manages to get out of the thing and go off to a river and clean herself up. The love interest sort of comes in and is like all worried that it was like that it could have been her and whatnot. It's that kind of nice little moment of like showing how much he loves her, kind of thing, and how worried he was for her. And so yeah, then they go off to the facilities where they go in and get treated and such, and try to figure out what it is. Is it something in the blood? Over time, they're giving him new drugs, and for a while nothing really happens. And there's just like one dude who's constantly like just like, yeah, we'll make it through this, or whatever. He's just a fucking jock kind of dude. And then yeah, he explodes, and it's kind of just Here's the thing about it, is what happens in this movie. That people just randomly pop, and it's like one of those things where it's just like you're very tense through this movie, wondering who's gonna pop next. And I kind of like that. I kind of like that feeling of just wondering who's gonna be next. And so you're kind of on edge throughout the movie, especially with like the main chick and the love interest. Like you just know it's gonna happen at some point. You know the love interest is probably gonna pop at some point, and so you're tense throughout the movie, just waiting. And I kind of like that. I kind of did. You know, it's not a horror movie, but it kind of makes you feel that way. And so yeah, when that dude pops, it's like, oh crap, okay, so yeah, one of the meds I have been taking, one of the little experiments haven't worked. And so, you know, we gotta keep on doing things. There's a moment where like, where all the kids are sleeping and one of them just pops in their sleeping bag. And that kind of like, ooh, made me jump a little bit. It was like, really, really quite sudden and kind of like, I think they did make a noise or something. And yeah, it was kind of like, oh, jeez, huh. And eventually they do, yeah, so kids do continue exploding, and I kind of do it kind of comedically, where like they're playing poker, and kid next to him just kind of pops, and so he just goes over and takes his chips, and just like, yeah, whatever, this is happening to us now, and they all kind of do accept it and kind of think, well, maybe like if we can at least make it to graduation, you know, once we're out of high school, we'll be okay, you know, it's that kind of thing. And yeah, all while the two main characters, you know, falling even more deeper in love. They're getting like, you know, they absolutely love each other. And then yeah, they finally figure out a drug, which I can't remember its name at the moment, but it was kind of a stupid name, and they kind of hate it because it's stupid. I can't remember what it's called now, but yeah, they do finally get like some kind of drug that does seem to be working. And then we get, like, the big scene of the movie. Which, yeah, spoilers ahead, sorry, spoilers. You probably already know just by me saying spoilers. Let's be real here. So, about, like, about an hour into this movie, we get, like, the big sewer scene. It's been, like, 56, days since the last person combusted, or whatever, popped. It's been, like, yeah, a long, long time. So everyone's like really happy. Everything's looking all good. And one of the people that's like the head of like the government or whatever, one of the people who's in charge of the operations to help fix everyone. She gets like one of the dudes who's like, yeah, one of the jock kind of dudes. Characters were like, yeah. Gets him up in like front of the class to like, yeah, look, you're doing just fine. Here, pat your head, rub your belly, look at all the stuff you can do. And so he's doing all that, and then suddenly, pop! He just pops, and everyone starts freaking the hell out. And then, like, there's like another one or two people that suddenly pop in the classroom, and so they start running through the hallways, trying to get the hell out of there, and there's just people popping everywhere they want. It's a pretty graphic kind of scene. Like, it's a really good scene, because yeah, there's just people just popping everywhere. Like they will like a whole bunch of them will go running to a door, and the one in front will just suddenly pop. And so yeah, they're still like trying to get through the door, but now they're just like very much covered in blood, a lot of blood. And there's this one dude who I guess was just being nice. I guess that's his whole thing. He was being nice, and he completely covered himself up. He completely covered himself up, wearing a helmet and everything. And at one point, the main girl gets pulled aside by him, and he quickly goes like, "They were wrong. They messed up." And then all of a sudden, like she looks back at him to like talk to him or whatever, and just yeah, his helmet inside just pops, and yeah, just suddenly blood's all over his helmet and such. And then it's like very still, you know, he's not moving or anything, and she then starts running, and all you see is just this flab of like, because then it's just all blood, and so all the clothing just kind of, you know, shrinks down because there's nothing in there, and it was kind of graphic. It was really good. I really liked the look of it because it was just eerie and creepy. And so, yeah, she ended up getting separated by her boyfriend as well during that whole scene, because everyone's, you know, just running, blood everywhere. At one point, very graphic, a lot of blood coming down out of nowhere. It was a bit weird. I don't think that was very thought out. I'm not really quite sure where that came from. But yeah, very cool. But yeah, then we get the big moment of like she goes outside, and the boyfriend finds her, and we get very particular, very particular camera shots with these two, and you just know something is going to happen. There's something weird about it. There's something off about it. It's very good like that. It's very nicely shot in that scene, because you just know. You just know. And so, you know, we want to hug each other, we're very happy, we're smiling, like, yay, we're alive, we're okay, we made it, we're out of there. And then the boyfriend pops. But they don't necessarily show him popping. All they do is just like they're showing him, and then suddenly the screen turns red, because it's like her viewpoint. She's now covered in blood. Yeah, like I knew it was coming, and it's one of those things where he's just, I would have loved the twist if it was her that popped. But yeah, it's one of those things where like you know it's coming, and so, but they made him very lovable. He was a very lovable guy because he wasn't like this pretty boy. He was just this average looking guy, and so you really feel for him. You really do, and yeah, it's extremely sad. It's extremely depressing. And later, yeah, after that, you just see her walking down the street covered in blood. And I feel like that is then a reference-ish, kind of meant to be kind of a reference to Carrie. Then, as I said, she was like, she wanted to look like Carrie, and now she does. You know, and so it's kind of like one of those. It was sad. It was very sad. The problem is then there's still 40 minutes of this film. So the next 40 minutes are her just getting completely wasted, getting like hella just drunk and using drugs and all this kind of stuff. Mostly just getting drunk and just like completely out there. And that's most of the movie. But she does do a good job. Don't get me wrong. She does a very good job of showing these emotions and everything. Like I said, because now she just completely fell in love with this person. And yeah, but there's still like 40 minutes left. It's a bit much. There's a couple of nice scenes. But yeah, that's pretty much all I will say about all that. Because yeah, it's pretty much just the next 40 minutes is just her being sad. Every now and then, yeah, a kid will still pop or whatever. In the end, basically it was a bad batch of new meds that they got. That's all they really say about it, is that they got a bad batch. Which is kind of a bit messed up, if that's all it took. I'm not quite sure what that means exactly, if they basically just halted it with what they had, or whatever, then they kept on giving them meds over time, and yeah, they just simply gave them a bad batch, I guess. Yeah. So now they reworked it, I guess, and gave them new ones. And yeah, so in the end, it kind of just ends on a nice note, I guess. Not really, sort of. her and her like best friend she's had since a kid, she survives, of course, at least. So she has her best friend. Those two are still alive. They pretty much just go and went out, or like live out on the beach in this like little hut or whatever. And basically that's their life now. I don't know where they'll get money. But yeah, that's pretty much their life now. It's just chilling out on the beach, whatever. It's kind of, the message is basically, life sucks. Life absolutely sucks. A lot of people say that in this movie. You know, and like, it works because this movie came out in 2020. And so it's very much life sucks, live in the moment. You know, that's the message of the movie. And yeah, fair enough. That's one way to do it. It's basically, yeah, just, you know, people are just having heart attacks or something, you could say. And so, you know, just kind of just live in the moment. And I appreciated it. And yeah, pretty much. It's a weird ass movie. It's a very weird love story kind of thing, but then it's not love because then they die. But for what it is, it's not a bad movie. I kind of did enjoy it. I will actually have to give this movie probably a good 7 out of 10 foxes. I genuinely enjoyed it. Do I recommend it? Nah, it's not really for everyone. It's really not. It's very sad. But it was still good. It was still good. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed this Blazie review. I know there's a little bit more editing in this one, because there's just scenes you need to see. But I do want to do a whole big review of this movie. Not at all. Even though I'm pretty sure this review is still going to be a long review. I apologize. Anyway, hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a like and subscribe to my channel because I love you if you do. Hit that bell icon, and VitoFox says, be who you want to be. Alright guys, bye for now.